All right,
Doesn't matter.
Ding.
Ding.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to my show.
This is
This is
my
my show called What's Your Story, where I talk to my guests, whichever side you want, power on. Where we talk about struggles and how we've come out the other side. On to our success. So with that, let me introduce you. Christine. There you go. That's how crazy I am. So, Christine, what's been going on?
Oh, well, let's see. I just got home from a baseball tournament. I have two boys, ages 8 and 6, and they're both baseball players. And they just finished up the spring season, and now we're into the all-star season. So it's every single weekend. And so sometimes it's tough for me to jump on Scopers Unite on Saturdays because I'm out at the baseball fields, and they don't always have really good reception there. So that's why I missed today and last weekend. But I'm glad that I'm home now and I can do the show with you. And it's quiet. There's no kids here. So it doesn't happen very often.
That is true. I have my kids once a week. They're asleep at the moment. So I have this part of the reason New Zealand.
Right.
I do have some sleep.
Right.
Just reading Honey's comment down there. She's coming from your end. Do you have a set of headphones?
Yeah, I can go get some. Hang on one second.
All right. I'll hold the fort.
Okay.
So welcome again. We'll just do the thing again and blah, blah, blah. What's your story? And Christine is my guest. And so baseball. Is it baseball tournament you were saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I'm the baseball mom.
Is that like a soccer mum? Like
pretty much.
Different sport. Gotcha.
Right.
That is awesome. So, the reason I got you on the show, Christine, is because I'm having a wee chuckle to myself because for all those that won't know, is I sent an email to Christine and I called her Michelle, and I'm like, where did that come from? I don't even know any Michelles. But anyway. So the reason I got you on the show is because of your story, which is in particular is, although we all have our own story and we all sort of touch on bits and pieces and we all sort of escapisms and your story in particular was one that sort of caught me out because it's something that although I have been a part, have had that in my life, it's to no degree as to you. So I was very intrigued and interested to hear more about it and, for you to share to the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go. That's my little intro. Away you go. Take the stage.
All right. Sounds good. So I share my story because my main mission in life now is to give hope because I'm just going to start from the beginning and talk about how I got into addiction because that's what I struggled with. And I still struggle to this day. But I grew up in a really good home. My parents were both Christians. I had structure and discipline because I was a ballet dancer and a gymnast growing up. And, life wasn't perfect, but it was good. There was no abuse or anything like that. And so growing up, I never thought that drugs or anything like that would be a part of me because it was just like, I never even thought about it. It was like, I would never do drugs ever. And, I did alcohol and smoked pot a few times when I was in college, but, I didn't do any of the hardcore drugs. And so after I graduated from college and I got married right after college and I got into fitness competitions and, I'm really into working out and being healthy and all that. And so, a lot of people looked up to me and, I really had my life together. And so life was good. And then my husband, he sustained an elbow injury one day And he went to his doctor, and his doctor prescribed him a really mild painkiller called tramadol. It's also called Ultram. And it's an opiate, but it's considered extremely mild. Well, for some reason, one day I went into the bathroom and I saw the bottle of pills sitting on the counter. And for some reason, I decided I'm going to try one. And I still don't really know why I made that decision, but I guess I was just curious. And so I tried it, and I absolutely loved the way it made me feel. It gave me energy. It made me happy. And I didn't become addicted right away. I just kind of would sneak one every now and then when I just felt like I needed a little boost. And so that's how it started. And so then it progressed, but it was a very slow progression for me. I would just take it every now and then, like I said before. And then, I started taking it every weekend. Like if my husband and I went out to dinner, I would take it just to, have fun and relax. And I never told anybody about it, never told my husband. Nobody knew. I was very good at hiding it. And then a couple of years down the road, I found myself in a job that I really was not happy with. And my marriage was starting to have some issues because we were having some financial difficulties, which always puts a strain on a marriage. And I just wasn't real happy with the direction that my life was going. And so at that time, I made the choice to start taking the tramadol every day, just to I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to take this just so I can get through this tough season of my life. Mm. And I, never thought of it like I'm going to take this all the time forever and become a drug addict. I just thought, like an alcoholic who wants to, have a drink every day just to cope, get through those tough times. And this is when I became addicted. And it went on like that for a couple of months. And I thought to myself, this is crazy. What am I doing? I knew I was addicted. And so I decided I was going to quit. I was like, that's it, going cold turkey. This is crazy. This is not who I am. Mm. And so, that's when I knew how big of a problem I really had, because I got so sick. I could not function, couldn't go to work, couldn't do anything. And keep in mind, nobody knows about this. So I'm having to try and just say, oh, I've got the flu or something, and just try and hide this addiction that I have. And so that's when I knew how big of a problem this really was, and how big of a demon I was dealing with. Mm. And go ahead.
Sorry. I just to jump in a question there, to break it up a little for you. You talk about where I take notes at the same time. You talk about you're giving hope. Now, we've only touched on a small part of your story. Just, have you come across friends who have been in the same position as you, or friends or acquaintances or whatever, and you're like, yep, maybe you could have chats to them, or how does that work if you come across that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Now that I'm open and I share my story, I have people coming to me all the time, and some close friends, some people I just meet. Like, for example, I went to a networking event last week, and it's called Fabulous Working Ladies of Austin. And we were all just sitting at the table, just introducing ourselves and just sharing a few minutes about what we do. And so it was my turn, and I shared that, my passion is to share my story and to speak to other people. And after I was done talking, the lady next to me, she looked at me and she goes, oh my gosh, I was addicted to pain pills too. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, we need to talk afterwards. And so after the luncheon was over, she looked at me and she was in tears. And she's like, that's the first time I have ever admitted that out loud. And it was like this pivotal moment for her. Mm. And it was because I was open and transparent, which gives other people the power to do the same.
That's awesome. I love that. You have no idea how much I think that is the best part. The best part about sharing our stories is you never know who we're going to impact. And, you know, like you say, you're
Right.
just at a luncheon with some businesswomen and having chit chats or whatever. And then you're like, well, I'm just going to share my story because that's what I want to do. And that's your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, 10, 15 minutes later, whatever it is, you have some stranger effectively, you know, almost in tears.
Right.
And that is the best part about it. Not tears, but, you know, that you're able to share and say, hey, look, it's okay. You know, it's okay to have that same pain and hurt.
Yeah.
How you feel. That's awesome.
Yes. Because I always thought that, you know, growing up, I thought a drug addict was, you know, that homeless person or, you know, whoever. It wasn't someone like me. That's what I thought. But now that I've been through addiction, I've been to all these different rehabs and doctors, and I see that addiction, it affects everyone. It doesn't matter where you're from, what kind of person you are, your background, none of that. It affects everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's continue with your story. You know, you got to that point, and you're right, and you are continuing to like, oh, hang on, this is becoming a problem in your own life.
Yeah. So that's like I tried to get off and I couldn't because I was so sick. So that's when I said, okay, I'm going to get back on the drugs and I'm only going to take it just to not get sick. So I was basically in maintenance mode where I would take the pills. I wouldn't get high. I wouldn't get any kind of benefit from it. The only thing was that I was just taking it just to function, to live a somewhat normal life. And so that went on for quite a few years. I mean, I don't even know, like maybe 3 or 4 years. And, I was hiding it. Never again. I wouldn't tell anybody about it. You know, I'm really good at pretending like everything's okay. And deep down inside, it was eating me alive. And so it really, it affected my self-esteem, my self-worth, those kinds of things. And then when addiction really, really started to take me down is when I became pregnant with my first son. He was a surprise, a blessed surprise. And I, like so many pregnant women, we have trouble sleeping because, we're uncomfortable. And it was that third trimester. And so I went to my doctor and I told her about my sleeping issues. And she said that, here, just take some Ambien. It's considered safe for pregnant women to take, or it was back then in 2007. And I wasn't honest with her about my issue with tramadol in the past. So otherwise, she probably wouldn't have prescribed it to me. And so anyway, I became addicted to that right away. Luckily, I took it right before my son was born, so there wasn't too much of an issue there. So he was perfectly healthy, thank God. And but afterwards, I would still have to take it in order to sleep. If I didn't take it, then I didn't sleep at all, like for days. Thought I was going crazy. And so then that's when I started to have to take more than what was prescribed in order to achieve the same effect. So that meant that I had to start doctor shopping. So getting several doctors in place and getting this, the same medication, but different doctors. And I would have to take more because my body built up a tolerance. And that it started just to get completely out of control. And it literally turned into a full-time job of trying to, get all these different doctors and trying to figure out, okay, which one's which and what days can I go and get it? I mean, it's a nightmare. And so at this point, I was showing signs like, I don't know if you've ever taken Ambien before or sleeping pill, but it's pretty obvious, the side effects of just being drowsy. And my husband noticed signs of, I remember things I did the night before, sleepwalking, sleep eating, just crazy stuff. And so this went on for quite a while. And then I became pregnant with my second son 2.5 years later. And this is when I finally said, okay, you know what, enough. I can't do this. I have to get help. And so that's when the journey began of trying to get clean. And I was in a psych ward when I was 6 months pregnant with my son. I mean, it was the most humiliating experience of my life because here I am pregnant and I can't get off of drugs. I mean, how awful is that? I mean, that was the lowest point in my life for me personally, because my kids are my life. I love them more than anything. And, the fact that I was not able to get off of drugs on my own, that's how powerful this disease is and how powerful addiction is. Mm. And so I was able to get off, and then I was able to deliver my son. He was perfectly fine. I really believe that the power of prayer helped him. I believe that he was kept from those drugs going into his body. I mean, it was a miracle. It is a miracle that he was okay. So after he was born, then this is when it got really ugly, because CPS became involved in my life. I had to tell the hospital, I had to tell them about my addiction. And so CPS came by because that's their job. They have to make sure that the baby's safe, and they had to come and check my house, all that. And then just a few months into it, it was so hard. I was having such a hard time staying clean, and just with my sleep, it was just horrible, and the hormones, and just, it was a mess. And so basically what happened was CPS was involved. They ordered me to stop breastfeeding. They ordered me out of my house. I had to go into treatment. I was away from my newborn child. And so my husband is left here with the responsibility of taking care of two kids. And, he's got a full-time job. He has his own business. So then my sister-in-law, who lives in California, had to come and help take care of the kids, which I'm very grateful for, and while I was trying to get my life together. So fast forward a couple of years, I had been in and out of treatment, been sober for, a few months here, a few months there, really, really trying to work on my life. And it was Christmas Day, 2011. I woke up that morning. I was just having some withdrawal symptoms, wasn't feeling well. And what I did is I went to my closet in my bedroom closet, and went to where I usually hide my pills, and went to my stash, grabbed a handful of pills. My husband was standing behind me. I didn't know. I turn around, I see him, and I just dropped the pills to the ground, and was a complete and total mess. And instead of going and opening presents with my kids like I should have been doing, I was a wreck. I couldn't do anything. I was just crying. And so it was totally obvious that day that, this is going to kill me. If I don't get, some serious help, I will die. And so the next day, the day after Christmas, I admitted myself into a 30-day inpatient rehab, which was really hard because I had to leave my two children and go away for 30 days. And I knew it was the right decision. I knew I had to do it because I was just at the bottom of the bottom. I was going to die. And, my kids, they need a mother, And so I was just so committed. I wanted to finally be sober and be healthy and be there for my kids. And so I went off to this rehab, and it was really hard, but it was good. And 4 days before I graduated, sheriff came to visit me at the rehab, and he served me with divorce papers because my husband just couldn't do it anymore. And, this wasn't the first time I tried to get sober. Sometimes people think, well, why did he give up so soon? I'm like, well, he didn't. He was there for a long time through all the other rehabs. But this time he couldn't do it anymore. And so not only that, he served me with a restraining order. So I couldn't even go home after rehab to be with my children, which is why I was there in the first place. And so that was my absolute rock bottom. And since then, it's been a really long journey, but I have come back, and I'm clean and sober today. And, I have my life back together. My kids are in my life every single day. I'm their mother. I get to be with them every single day. And I've been in recovery since then. So since 2012, beginning of 2012.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. And, you highlight the fact that, you had one of those moments where, you turn around, your husband was there. It was on a special day for the family, and you realized then that it was just like, it was hopeless. You almost, you can see, as you describe that, you can see that you basically collapse, with inside you, obviously you're still standing and stuff, but you just go, and you collapse and you realize that this is not where I need to be. And,
right.
And it must be hard, So when you say you went on that 30-day program on boxing on the day after Christmas, does that mean you stay away from the home, or you can come and go, or what's
no?
Oh, okay.
No, it's like basically, I don't want to say jail, but you're not allowed to leave. And so they isolate you from the entire world. And, you're taken care of, and you meet in recovery groups and meetings every single day, one-on-one counseling. It's intense, but they don't want you to be distracted from things in the world. They want you to just focus completely on getting clean and healing from the inside out.
Yeah. Gee whiz. I just see a question on the side there by Shannon. Now she asks, how did you maintain an ordinary life while going through it all? Obviously, when we, I know for myself, when you're hiding things or hurts or whatever, you start building up this whole persona that is actually not you. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, as you said, it becomes like, I think you call it doctor picking or whatever you're doing.
Doctor
your whole
shopping.
life becomes doctor shopping. Your whole life becomes, your husband's coming home, make sure that my pills are hiding, and your kids are home, make sure that, you're not doing any of that in front of them. So it becomes quite intense. Yes. How did you maintain that as, going back into an ordinary life?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I couldn't maintain it. I was able to do it for a little while, but like I said, it was like a full-time job trying to keep up with all of it. And I was basically living a lie. It wasn't who I was. It was the addiction. And, I don't know if you know anything about addiction, but, it's a disease, and it consumes a person who's struggling. Absolutely consumes. And that's all I could think about. And I wasn't able to maintain it because, after a few years, I found myself on, Christmas Day wanting to take drugs instead of being with my kids.
Yeah. No, I haven't, but it's something that it intrigues me how it does affects everyone. It's not. There's no. What's the term? It has no. It can affect the homeless to the wealthy to the. It's a broad spectrum of people that addiction can affect. Yeah. So I understand that. That's for sure. That's for sure. I did ask if you bring along 3 items. I always like to switch things up a little bit. Do you have an item with you?
I do. So,
you do? Yes.
Of course. I have all 3.
just one's good.
Okay, so let's see. Which one do I want to do? So I always carry my goals with me. I have it's like my journal here. I carry it in my purse. I carry it everywhere that I go. And I also have copies of my goals in my car, on the mirror in my bathroom. So just if I have a time where I'm, sitting in traffic or at the grocery store, I pull it out and I just go through it. And it's always in the front of my mind. And, why am I waking up every day? What am I shooting for? What am I living for? And I always have those there to remind me, because if I don't, life gets busy. I have kids and responsibilities, and, I can get carried up in all the other stuff that distracts me. So I have that. It's my why. Why am I here? What am I doing? What's the ultimate goal? So I always
It's a great way thing, because obviously, with being a parent myself, it's just like, as you say, life gets so busy that you end up going, I've got to do this and you've got to do that, and by the time you sort of stop for the day, half the day's gone and you haven't done anything in your little goal book. So exactly. I might implement that myself. So exactly. Thanks for that wee tip. Nice. I am aware of your time, so just let me know if you need to.
I'm good.
Run away. Oh, good. That's all right then. So tell us about your success. You've gone through the story. You've told that you've been in and out of rehab, come out. You've got a new lease on life. Your husband is you guys are ready to go at it again. How has that impacted his life and the family in particular? Where you said that the sister came over from California to be with you guys to monitor the kids. How is the relationship stronger now, having been through that, or how's that?
Yeah, so it's been pretty interesting since that whole ordeal happened. He files for divorce, and it was, I finally was able to get out of rehab and, get an apartment and, continue on with my life and continue on with my recovery. And, he was my ex back then, and he saw that I was really taking it serious. He saw me just getting healthy again, and he saw the woman that he was in love with before. And so basically, because we have kids together, we would still always see each other, whether it was school functions, whether it was me picking them up, to visit with them. So we were still like always together. So we decided that, we really would like our family back together. And so we kind of started dating again and just taking it really slow. And over, I guess it was a year and a half or so, I finally moved home. We finally got remarried. So that was the summer of 2014 that we got remarried. And so, yes, we are much stronger because of it. We both have worked through our issues. It wasn't just me, with my addiction. Obviously, it takes two, and he's working on his issues and I'm working on mine. And we work on it separately. And then we also work on our relationship together. And so that's really important because sometimes, the other spouse will always think, well, that's their issues. It's their fault. They need to work on it and then we'll be better. But really for my husband and I, we work on our issues separately and together. And so since then, it's not perfect by any means. It's still very difficult because, we still have, I guess what you call triggers. Sometimes both of us will fall into old patterns of behavior, and we have to recognize that and make changes as we go. And, we'll still go through rough patches. I mean, marriage is just hard to begin with. But, now that we have addiction as part of our lives, I'm always in recovery. It's a daily thing. It's always going to be there. So I have to just take it one day at a time. And I still continue to have to work on my recovery.
That's amazing. You always hear about these stories. I don't know anybody. Well, I do now. That you get to that point where it's like they're both going in different directions now, and that's it. And then obviously the time that you spend together is just actually I do love this woman, I do love this man, and then they get back together and you remarry. You've taken your vows again, and you're creating this new life with a history or with a past, but you guys are committed together. And as Shannon says, true love, and that's always inspiring to hear because it's always that we kind of look for. Something that we always are looking for is that true love. It's awesome. Right. It's a warm, fuzzy moment. So so we have spoken, or we have chill bumps. We have mentioned a couple of times via emails and stuff that you or I kind of gather you've picked up a group or a support group on Facebook.
So now that I'm clean and sober, and I'm working on my recovery, and I feel like I'm in a place where now I can give back and share my story, share hope. I started a group on Facebook called Prescription for Prosperity, which that really spoke to me because I've always been picking up prescriptions for whatever pill that I'm always needing to get. And so now, I'm like, it's really about not, I didn't want to say prosperity as like financial success, but just prosperity in my whole life in every area. And so I thought that was a good name for it. And so I share my story in that group, and I, just share whatever inspires me and I want to pass along. So if you want to join, just look up Prescription for Prosperity on Facebook and just click on the button where it says join, and then I'll add you.
Perfect. And it's a very. I actually have spied it out. I did say, and I thought it's a very clever, like you say, it's a very clever play on words. Prescription is, you obviously there's that the medication portion of it, and the prosperity. It's a double meaning. Prescription has been able to, for looking forward to adding something that's going to help you in your life. I thought it was very clever on words. So look, I love to look. My kids are about to get up. When they get up, we'll go. And so I do have my favourite little section. Actually, you've got 3 items. Okay. Bring out those items.
So this is kind of a weird thing that I don't know why I do this, but I always have to have gum on me. And this is my favorite kind. Yeah. Because you never know when you're going to like run into somebody and talk to someone. And I'm always like, is my breath okay? I don't know what, that's just a weird quirk about me.
That's awesome.
And let's see, what was the other thing? My gum, my goals, and oh shoot, I can't remember I think my phone. I always have to have this. Yeah, because I can't remember anything. I don't know if it's because of the drug use or if it's just me, but I mean, I have to have my calendar with me at all times. And this thing reminds me of everything I have to do. So I would die without my phone. I mean,
it's absolutely, I think, having your phone is such a integral part of everybody's day now. It would seem that way. Give 10 years ago,
no big deal.
I've lost my phone. It was one of those little, no big deal, little block. It doesn't matter. You wouldn't pull out their diaries and go from there. But it is, like you say, and I'm sitting there and I have my phone with me all the time as well. And aside from all the notifications that come up, it's great to have I have a little note thing. You can open it up and just type away your thoughts and your patterns for the day, and it's a great wee tool for that. So I totally understand. If you don't have your phone, then
I literally panic. I panic if I can't find my phone.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. So there's a part of my this chat thing that I do that I like, that I quite enjoy. Oh, actually, before we go into that, tell me about Toastmasters. I obviously we've spoken offline. Tell me about Toastmasters. How's that going?
I'm working on my 4th speech, but actually I've been doing a lot of leadership roles lately. Like being the Toastmaster, the general evaluator, evaluating other people's speeches. But I got started in Toastmasters, I think it was 6-7 months ago. I can't remember the exact date. But the reason why I joined is because public speaking is my number one fear. And I never wanted to get in front of people before, or I was okay with getting in front of people because I was a dancer my whole life. But speaking, that's a whole nother issue. And so I joined Toastmasters because, I'm now sharing a story, and I need some help on how to be able to get up and without the ums, ahs, and all that, the filler words. And and so it's been a great group. I mean, everyone in there is so supportive. We're all learning from each other, and I highly, highly recommend it.
That's awesome, and it's funny, very much the same from my end. Getting out and talking and speaking is one thing, but and I've been on the stage before. But it's all about performing, drama and whatever I might be doing. But when you're talking about your life and talking about the things of value, and there's a vulnerability that comes about you that you're really unsure of because you're talking in front of strangers, and so being able Toastmasters is an absolute gem of a find to be able to be a part of. So, when you said that you're up for your 4th speech, I'm like, right,
right,
what competition? I've got my 3rd one next week. So
good.
So I'm tracking it down. I'm chasing you down. But anyway, so all right. So now that we've done all the bits and pieces, we've heard about your the struggles and your story, and that you're moving on to successes with your prescription prosperity by sharing your story to others and encouraging and helping them along their path. I have my favourite part of the show. I'm going
I
to
hope
call
I
it the
don't
9
screw
and
it
10.
up.
The not. Hey, I don't think I don't. I just kind of come off the always topics of random ideas. From what I've heard or from what I little I know about you. And this particular one, so obviously you've got 9 seconds or 10 seconds to name 9 items, and what I'll do is find my little timer on my phone. Everybody that has to have their phone. So we get 10 seconds.
Okay.
You have 9 items. Timer. Right. So hopefully we can hear this okay when it beeps. So the topic is.
I hope so.
Are you ready? The 10-second game. Oh, actually, Heine, so you won't be aware of this. I have this this wee game that I play at the end of the show. I give the guest a topic, and then they have to name 9 items within 10 seconds. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Oh, you do know. There you go. All right.
Okay.
So, you ready? The topic is roles in Toastmasters.
Okay.
Go.
So, Toastmaster, grammarian, timer, the speaker, the evaluator, general evaluator. My time's up. I talk too slow.
Yeah.
I was imagining the agenda in my mind, and I was going through it.
I did notice that. I was like, oh, stop. How do I stop this? Stop. There we go. I did notice that. I'm like, yeah, Toastmaster grammarian. That's, when you have the agenda coming out, you're like, down the side. So, very good, very good. Awesome. Thanks for that. So, look, people, this is my show. This is all I do. I just talk to people, talk to our guests. Christine has talked about her struggles with addiction, where she has overcome, but it's still a work in progress, And as it is, being sober is not just a flick of the switch and you're done and dusted. It's about an ongoing process of wanting to steer away from the hurts and the pains that you've been through and making a future with being able to overcome these things. So there you go. That's it. That's
an awesome show. Keep watching. Keep going.
I will. So you have a book? Do you have a book?
Well, I read several books, but the one I just finished it actually, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and this is actually my second time I've read it,
yes.
And that is a must-have. And I brought another one. I didn't tell you about this one, but it's a really small book. Took me about a couple of days to read through it. But this one's called The Greatest Manifestation Principle in the World. And it's all about love, the power of love. And that's another one I highly recommend.
Who's that one by? Because I know the other one's by Steve Covey, isn't it?
Marley. Hold on, there's a sticker over the name. Let me look in the book. Oh, Carnelian Sage.
Carnelian.
With a C.
Is it with a K or
Carnelian
a C?
Sage. It's the missing secret behind the law of attraction that will enable you to finally manifest your desires. But it's all about love, the power of love. Yeah.
Nice. Have you read the 5 love languages?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good read when I.
What's your love language?
That bad boy. Mine. When did I read it? I read it about 2 years ago. And the irony is, I read the book, and then I found out my wife was doing what she was doing, and I'm like, yeah. But anyway, that's a different story. This is your show. And so, look, let's finish with the wow moment, which the wow is a word of wisdom or a quote or something that you hold true to yourself. What would that be? And then we'll.
So my favorite quote for right now, anyway, is you cannot go back and have a brand new beginning, but we can all start now and have a brand new ending.
Nice. That's perfect.
Yes, absolutely. All the psych hospitals, rehabs, everywhere that I've been, the common theme is that everybody is just looking for hope for a better day, hope for a way out of whatever adversity they're dealing with. And so now that I'm clean and sober, that is my mission, is to provide hope and let you know that no matter what you're going through, you can get through it.
Nice. Very much truth spoken there, and it's not until we go through some adversity or go through some hard times that we realize that it's, the hope is what we're hoping to get through these things. So
exactly.
Yeah. We're on the same page, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And